Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. Shubhavtam discussion and attentive chanting. So, thank you very much. We'll make a start. And as you know, that we were discussing about Dhruva Maharaj and how his stepmother upset him, and his mother advised him to go and find Narayan. Only he could help him because Krishna is like not just one mother, he's like millions of mothers. Only Krishna can be millions of mothers. And he has the compassion and love of so many mothers. So she was saying that I am one mother, I can't help you. You go to Krishna. He's like millions of mothers. He will definitely help you with your situation. So Dhruv was 5 years old. He leaves home, goes to the forest, and then meets sage Narad. So we'll continue from here. So the great sage Narad overheard this news and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj. He was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruv and touching the boy's head with his old virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. So Prabhupada is saying that when Dhruva Maharaj was talking with his mother, Suniti, of all the incidents that had taken place in the palace, Narad was not present. Thus the question may be raised, how Narad overheard all these topics? The answer is that Narad is Trikal Jana. He is so powerful that he can understand the past, future, and present of everyone's heart. Just like the Super Soul, the Supreme Personal Godhead. Therefore, after understanding the strong determination of Dhruva Maharaj, Narad came to help him. It may be explained in this way. The Supreme Personal Godhead is present in everyone's heart, and as soon as he understands that a living entity is serious about entering devotional service, he sends a representative like he has for us, sent Prabhupada and Prandan Prabhupada representatives. In this way, Narad was sent to Dhruva Maharaj. This is explained in the Chaitanya Charit Amrita. Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Beach. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, one can enter into devotional service. Because of Dhruva Maharaj's determination, Krishna, the Super Soul, immediately sent his representative, Narada, to initiate him. So we'll discuss this in a few minutes. And after reading through, let's do a prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Lamyate Gurim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Guru Dintaranam Pramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvit Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriyer Nashta Presha Vadareshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. So how wonderful are the powerful Kshatriyas. They cannot, so this is Narad saying to Dhruva Maharaj, how wonderful are the powerful Kshatriyas. They cannot tolerate even a slight infringement upon their prestige. Just imagine, this boy is only a small child, yet harsh words from his stepmother proved unbearable to him. So it's not that he's a Kshatriya and he's a warrior, that he's going to go and kill his stepmother. No, that's not the point. The point is a Kshatriya. He's a proud warrior, a proud person, proud prince, and he wants to show that he can do something, that even at this age is very capable of achieving things. The qualifications of the Kshatriya are described in Bhagavad-Gita. Two important qualifications are to have a sense of prestige and not to flee from battle. So if you are given a challenge, you don't run away from the challenge, you fulfill it. It appears that the Kshatriya blood within the body of Dhruva Maharaj was naturally very active. If the Brahminical Kshatriya or Vaishya culture is maintained in a family, naturally the sons and grandsons inherit the spirit of the particular class. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, the samskar or the reformatory system is maintained very rigidly. If one fails to observe the reformatory measures current in the family, one is immediately degraded to a lower standard of life. So, whatever qualities your family is made of, you carry those qualities in your blood. You carry those qualities and even make them even better. The great sage Narad told Dhruv, my dear boy, you are only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by words insulting your honor? So he's saying, you're just a child. What does honor or dishonor mean to you? It means nothing. You're just a baby. It doesn't really matter. Because ordinarily, if a child is rebuked or as a rascal or fool, he smiles and does not take much insulting words very seriously. Somebody, 5-year-old, what you just call him a fool, an idiot, or an owl or something, he's gonna laugh it off. He's not gonna think much of it. Similarly, if words of honor are offered, he doesn't appreciate them. In the case of Dhruva Maharaj, the Kshatriya spirit was so strong that he could not tolerate a slight insult from his stepmother, which injured his Kshatriya prestige. I mean, personally, I think it was very. I personally don't think it was a small insult. I think it's a very big insult. And Dhruva Maharaj took it seriously. Probably for his age, it was a lot seriously, but he took it seriously and it was a serious matter. My dear Dhruv, if you feel that your sense of honor has been insulted, you still have no cause for dissatisfaction. This kind of satisfaction is another feature of illusory energy. Every living entity is controlled by his previous actions. And therefore, there are different varieties of life for enjoying. So whatever we get in this life is based a lot on our previous life and what karmas we accumulated. We will either enjoy or suffer those karmas in this life. So in the Vedas, it is said that the living entity is always uncontaminated and unaffected by material association. The living entity gets different types of material bodies because of its previous fruitive actions. If, however, one understands the philosophy that as a living spirit soul, he has an affinity for neither suffering nor enjoyment, then he is considered to be a liberated person. It's confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasutri Nakankshti. When one is actually situated on the transcendental platform, he has nothing for which to lament and nothing for which to hanker. Nasutri Nakankshti. Nad Rishi, first of all, wanted to impress upon Dhruva Maharaj that he was only a child. He should not have been affected by words of insult or honor. And if he were so developed as to understand honor and insult, then this understanding should have been applied in his own life. He should have known that honor and dishonor are both destined only by one's previous actions. So if we are getting honor and dishonor, sometimes comes from any direction without even us inviting the honor or dishonor, then it's a good chance that it's our previous karma. Therefore, one should not be sorry or happy under any circumstances. The process of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very wonderful. One who is intelligent should accept the process and be satisfied with whatever comes, favorable or unfavorable, by his supreme will. The great sage Narada instructed Dhruva Maharaj that one should be satisfied in all circumstances. Everyone who is intelligent should know that because of our concept of bodily existence, we are subjected to suffering and enjoyment. One who is in the transcendental position beyond the concept of bodily life is considered to be intelligent. One who is a devotee especially accepts all reverses and gifts of the Supreme Lord. When a devotee is put into distress, he accepts this as God's mercy and offers him repeated obeisances with his body, mind, and intellect. An intelligent man, therefore, should be always satisfied, depending on the mercy of the Lord. True, but as you know, it is very, very difficult because we have mind, we have senses, and they can play havoc in our head. And it is this is what we are aiming for, but it's very, very difficult when we are squeezed, we have adversities, we are under stress. It's very difficult to bear, but that is our goal, to tolerate these things. Now you have decided to undertake the mystic process of meditation under the instruction of your mother, just to achieve the mercy of the Lord. But in my opinion, such austerities are not possible for any ordinary man. It is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now they're saying that I understand what you're trying to do, but it's even difficult for a grown person, and you're just a child. There's no way you could fulfill this challenge. The process of bhakti yoga is simultaneously very difficult and very easy to perform. Sri Narada Muni, the supreme spiritual master, is testing Dhruva Maharaj to see how determined he is to prosecute devotional service. So Narada Muni will help him, but he just wants to see his determination, his dedication, that he's not going to just leave it halfway through and just go back home and just cry. So he's just testing him, that is he a worthy student? Should he spend time on him? Should he help him or not? This is the process of accepting a disciple. The great sage Narad has come to Dhruv under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just to initiate him. So Narayan has sent Narad Muni to help Dhruv. Yet he's testing Dhruv's determination to execute the process. It is a fact, however, that for a sincere person, devotional service is very easy. But for one who is not determined and sincere, this process is very difficult. So Narad Muni continued. After trying this process for many, many births and remaining unattached to material contamination, placing themselves continually in trance and executing many types. It is a fact, however, that for a sincere person, devotion is very easy. So this process for sincere person is process very difficult. So Narad Muni continued. After this process, many births and remaining untouched with contamination, placing themselves continually in trance and executing many types of austerities, many mystics, yogis were unable to find the end of the path of God realization. So it's really difficult, even for yogis, for mystic yogis, to get God realization. So how can a child achieve this? For this reason, my dear boy, you should not endeavor for this. He says, why are you wasting your time, your life, your energy on this? It will not be successful. It is better that you go home. When you are grown up, by the mercy of the Lord, you will get a chance for these mystic performances. So he said, why don't you wait for the right time? Why are you doing this now that you know it's not going to be successful? Why don't you wait a few years for the right time, and then you can try? Then you don't have to forget this. Keep it in your mind. When the time is there, when you're ready, you can come back and execute this. At that time, you may execute this function. So generally, a thoroughly trained person takes to spiritual perfection at the end of his life, according to the Vedic system. Therefore, life is divided into 4 stages. In the beginning, one becomes a brahmachari, a student who studies Vedic knowledge under the authoritative guidance of a spiritual master. He then becomes a householder under the authoritative guidance of a spiritual master. He then becomes a householder and executes the household duties according to the Vedic process. Then the householder becomes a vanaprastha, and gradually, when he's mature, he renounces household life and vanaprastha life also, and takes to sannyas, completely devoting himself to devotional service. So these are the 4 processes: brahmachari, and then grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. These are the four processes that, according to the Vedic system, that everyone should follow. Not necessarily that it happens that way, but that is the order. For if you especially want God realization, you want liberation into your life, then you have to follow these processes. There's time, there's a cutoff point that now you have been a brahmachari. You can either continue as a brahmachari, but if you want a family life, then you have a family life. But then after the family life, you have to go become a vanaprastha, which doesn't necessarily mean nowadays that you have to go to a forest. It just means you start detaching yourselves from your family, your friends, your social life, your material life. You detach yourself from that. You live like a lotus in water. A lotus in water is in water, but still remains dried, becomes unattached from that water. It should be that you should be above all those things. So generally people think that child is meant for enjoying life by engaging himself in sports and play. Youth is meant for enjoying the company of young girls. And when one becomes old at the time of death, then he may try to execute devotional service or a mystic yoga process. But this conclusion is not for devotees who are actually serious. The great sage Narada is instructing Dhruva Maharaja just to test him. Actually, the direct order is that from any point of life, one should begin rendering devotional service. So even as if you're brahmachari, they are giving devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Even the brahmachari, young children, they are doing Krishna conscious service. Not that you wait for, you once you've had all your fun and you're going to really frail and old, and then you can go and worship God. It's not meant to be like that. You worship God throughout your life. So the great sage Narada is instructing Dhruva Maharaja just to test him. Actually, the direct order is that from any point of life, one should begin rendering devotional service. But it is a duty of the spiritual master to test the disciple to see how seriously he desires to execute devotional service. Then he may be initiated. So even in our Krishna conscious movement, we are expected to do 16 rounds and follow Ekadashi, follow the 4 regulations. So it's Kali Yuga. So this may seem very difficult to us, but it's a similar principle is the same. So you're following all these regulations, and then the temple seniors, they can see actually from your behavior, from your body language, from your speech, whether you are serious or whether you are really following the regulations that are expected from a person who's getting initiated. It's they can see the changes in you from when you came, when you were like a blank sheet, and now you have become spiritual. You're following the regulations. They can tell that whether you're serious or not, and then they will recommend that you get aspire and you take initiation like that. So it's a similar process. One should try to keep himself satisfied in any condition of life, whether distress or happiness, which is offered by the supreme will. A person who endures in this way is able to cross over the darkness of nescience very easily. So material existence consists of pious and impious fruited activities. As long as one is engaged in any kind of activity other than devotional service, it results in the happiness and distress of this material world, because this material world is duality. If there's happiness, there is distress as well. When we enjoy life in so-called material happiness, it is to be understood that we are diminishing. So this is very important. So it is understood that we are diminishing the resultant actions of our past activity. While we're getting enjoyment, that means previously we did some pious things, and now we're enjoying the fruit of those, and vice versa. So when we are putting into suffering, it is to be understood that we are diminishing the resultant actions of our impious activities. So instead of being attached to the circumstantial happiness and distress resulting from pious or impious activities, if we want to get out of the clutches of this nescience, then whatever position we are put in by the will of the Lord, we should accept. Thus, if we simply surrender onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we shall get out of the clutches of this material existence. So otherwise, we are just either 1 minute we're happy, then we're sad, and that applies to all of us. This is how material life seems to be. We are happy one day, and then another day we're under pressure, we're under stress, we remember things. And even if you left all these things, you decided, right, I don't want anything to do with material life, I want to go into seclusion. Guess who comes with you? Your mind and your senses come with you, and they will disturb you. It doesn't matter whether you're own or you're surrounded by so many people. Your mind and senses will always disturb you. Very, very difficult to, by our own endeavor, to escape our mind and to escape our senses. Very, very difficult. So we need to change our consciousness. Very important, we change our consciousness, because living in material consciousness, we cannot escape these things. We have to become Krishna conscious. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate toward him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. So in this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. So that seems to be the formula or the antidote for this problem. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. So Prabhupada is mentioning some of the reasons why we get into distress and things, how our mind plays tricks on us. When we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. We start comparing. These are the causes of all material tribulations. The great sage Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate toward him, just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. So instead of being proud of one's own activity before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. So sometimes we're suffering because of our previous activities, because we upset people, we do things, impious things. So if we follow this formula, according to Prabhupada, we can become happy. We try to, sometimes if we forget our own worries, own problems, we help others, then that helps, isn't it? Because we're constantly thinking, when the mind is free, it will keep thinking about things just like that, right? Things come to a head. Out of nowhere, these things come. Or why did this person say this to me? Why did this person say, do this to me? Why didn't I say this back? I should have said something. Like nonsense all the time is coming to a head. But if we spend our time helping people, being compassionate, and serving the Vaishnavas, then the mind is occupied, is busy, it doesn't disturb us so much. Dhruva Maharaja said, "My dear Lord Naradaji." Now Dhruva Maharaja is replying after hearing from Narada Muni. "My dear Lord Naradaji, for a person whose heart is disturbed by the material conditions of happiness and distress, whatever you have so kindly explained for attainment of peace of mind is certainly a very good instruction. But as far as I am concerned, I am covered by ignorance, and this kind of philosophy does not touch my heart." So there are various classes of men. Prabhupada says that one class is called akamis, referring to those who have no material desire. Desire must exist, either material or spiritual. So it's not that you can't have desire. Material desire arises when one wants to satisfy one's personal senses. One who is ready to sacrifice anything to satisfy the Supreme Personality Godhead can be said to have spiritual desire. Dhruv did not want except instruction given by the great Saint Narada, because he thought himself unfit for such instruction, which prohibited all material desires. So he was after something material at this stage, so he's not willing to listen. He has his own goal, he has his agenda. It is not a fact, however, that those who have material desires are prohibited from worshipping the Supreme Personality Godhead. So we are all at our different stages. So even if we have material desires, you still qualify to serve the or worship the Supreme Personality Godhead. This is the essential instructions from life of Dhruva. So this is what we learn from here. He frankly admitted that his heart was full of material desires. He was very much affected by the cruel words of his stepmother, whereas those who are spiritually advanced do not care about anyone's condemnation or adoration. So in Bhagavad-Gita, it is said that persons who are actually advanced in spiritual life do not care for the dual behavior of this material world. But Dhruva Maharaj frankly admitted that he was not beyond the affliction of material distress and happiness. He was confident that the instruction given by Narada was very valuable, yet he could not accept it. The question raised here is whether or not a person afflicted by the material desire is fit to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The answer is that everyone is fit to worship him, even if one has many material desires to fulfill. He should take to Krishna consciousness and worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is so merciful that he fulfills everyone's desires. Through his narration, it will become very clear that no one is barred from worshipping the Supreme Personality Godhead, even if one has material desires. My Lord, I am very impudent for not accepting your instructions. So Dhruva apologizes for not accepting the instructions of Narada. But this is not my fault. It is due to my having been born in a Kshatriya family. My stepmother, Sruchi, has pierced my heart with her harsh words. Therefore, your valuable instruction does not stand in my heart. So he's so upset right now that he's not prepared to listen to any good instruction. It's a bit like Arjun on the battlefield. Krishna had to give him knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita before he would understand what is right, what is wrong. Oh, Lord Brahman, I want to occupy a position. So now he's revealing his heart to Narad Muni, what he's really after. I want to occupy a position more exalted than any yet achieved within the three worlds by anyone, even by my father and grandfather, who, if you will oblige, kindly advise me of an honest path to follow by which I can achieve the goal of my life. My dear Lord, you are a worthy son of Lord Brahma, and you travel playing on your musical instrument, the veena, for the welfare of the entire universe. You are like the sun, which rotates the universe for the benefit of all living beings. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying that I understand what you're saying, and I really appreciate you trying to help me, and you are worth glorifying. But right now, in my heart, I feel so much tension that I really have to do this. I really have to do this before I can feel any differently. Right now, I have to go through this process. There's nothing right now that can stop me. This is a 5-year-old saying this. So this is his endeavor. And as this month of Damodar, is also a month of endeavor and mercy. So if we endeavor for something this month, then Krishna will definitely bestow his mercy. Radha and Krishna, they will definitely bestow their mercy. So if we have some material desire that we have to fulfill, but later on you realize, this is just the way of Krishna bringing you closer to himself, that at least you are, says in Bhagavad-Gita that the intelligent people, they approach Krishna for everything. So he sees that at least you are intelligent. Instead of approaching the demigods or anyone else, you're approaching Krishna. And then he helps you, and he helps you realize that what this Chintamani stone, for example, that you are looking for, is worthless compared to what Krishna really has to offer to you. And as you know, further on, this is what happens, and we'll continue next time. Now I just want to get your opinions on this, some feedback from you, and learn from what realizations you have. So we'll start with the anyway. Just welcome you all first of all, Hina Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, Partha Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Pranav Prabhu, Prem Prakash Prabhu, Sarvashri Mataji. Thank you all for joining today, and please love to hear from you. Hina Mataji, first of all, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. Really, really nice reading, Prabhu. I think for me, listening to just that verse there, there's a lot we can learn from Dhruva Maharaj. He was very determined. I know that word crops up in that verse quite a lot, and it just kind of shows what a rare characteristic that is, to have that much staunch determination. And I think there's definitely something that we can learn from that, that we can't give up. We've got to make our goal in life, whether it's to obtain Krishna Prema, God realization, that ultimately that's our goal. And we've got to stay very focused on that, very fixed, and almost unmovable in that pursuit, very much how Dhruva Maharaj was. That's our goal, that's our purpose in life. We should never forget that, and we should make that our sole reason for breathing every day, almost. That's our sole determination. And also, I think you made a good point as well in the purport about how devotional service, it can start at almost with Narada was obviously testing him, telling him to go back to the palace, etc. But I think the lesson there is almost the subliminal message, is almost like devotional service can start at any age, really. We shouldn't wait till we get old, and when we're diseased and we've got nothing better to do with our life, or wait till a time when you're free. No, we should start now. There's no better time than to do devotional service, than now. Basically, not to wait to be free, not to wait for a more suitable time when you're free from responsibilities, or when children are too young. Just start right now. And then I think the last point that I caught was around the qualification piece, how Krishna doesn't look at whether we come to him with material desires. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. There's no barriers to approaching him, to starting a spiritual life, to starting devotional service. He's so merciful. Krishna's so merciful. He really doesn't care about what our intentions might be. And I think that's beautiful. That's how it just demonstrates his mercy. Really, he just wants us to come to him. Doesn't matter with what intentions we come. Just come to him, essentially. So no, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yes, you picked up very good points there, and that's absolutely right. Like you say, you can start at any age, because we don't know how much life we have. We could die at any moment, and our attachments, they tend to increase rather than decrease, because lives keep changing, and the different attachments come, and we are just stuck in there. Very difficult to get out. So you just have to make your mind up. Right, I'm going to start right here. And like say, you can even start at a young age, because you have different attachments at different ages. So the attachments are always there. You can't think that, oh, when I get older, I will be away. But your energy will be less, your body will be diseased, like mentioned, but your attachments still will remain. Thank you so much, Mataji. Rukmini Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The meditation, I have read Brahma, Lord Vishnu said to Brahmaji to meditate for 1,000 years. Such a long period, Prabhuji, how can people live 1,000 years? And now Dhruva went for meditation, tapasya. So such a young child, and when I think about these years of chanting and making the tapasya to do the meditation in the jungle, it's for in this Kali Yuga, it's very, very unbelievable to do such a action. But still, they did it, and I'm still thinking uh, how hard thing is this. So, but we are still we are in the right path in ISKCON. So no need to worry about anything, and Krishna will help us to go out from the materialistic world, from materialistic world to spiritual world, and at least we can. Krishna is saving us from the bad things, so we are lucky that we are in a good contact and good association. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Yeah, very nicely explained points by Hina Mataji and Hemlata Mataji. The other thing that came to my mind was Dhruva Maharaj. He was very honest. So he honestly admitted to Narad Muni that his desire is material desire. So rather than just accepting, or pretending, so he was very honest. But again, then it's a big example for everybody that yes, even if you have material desire, he clearly said he wanted more exalted position than his father and grandfather. But the end result was great. He got the love of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I joined late, sorry, today. I wasn't feeling very well.
No problem. That's fine. Yeah, well, the amazing thing is Krishna fulfills all desires. And I'll just discuss that in a bit. Let's get Parnav Kumar's Prabhu's view on this. Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Okay. We'll speak to Prem Prakash Prabhu for now. Prabhu, I don't know if you're speaking, you're still on mute. Prem Prakash Prabhu?
Pranam. So this is very amazing thing where actually how to accept how Guru would accept a disciple. But I mean, I'm just thinking about I guess I'm hearing echo.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway, so I was just thinking how fortunate we are actually when our Guru Maharaj accepted us without all those questions and all those, just open mercy. I was just comparing where we stand. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, such a mercy that our Guru Maharaj is carrying. Obviously, it's coming from Narada Muni himself, but Brahman, in our Sampradaya, it's coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then the way it's coming down to us. The mood is the mercy given by Lord Nityachand. So Lord Nityachand is so merciful that he doesn't consider whether one is qualified or not. He just gives away the mercy. He doesn't actually look at all, even if it's not qualified. And so I consider myself basically not qualified by any sense and still getting to get the drops of mercy. So that's something which is there. And Dhruva Maharaj is so determined to execute the devotional service. So I mean, it's also important to see that even whether we are determined or whether we are non-determined, but it should be very strong desire that we have to be determined to proceed with the devotional service. Like a child who are there, like a child, Narmani says that he gives an example that like a child, they are not bothered actually with the fame, the word of fame, the word of the fame, whatever is coming through. Their focus is something else. That's the play. So two analogies can be drawn out of it basically. Is that as a child we are progressing spiritually, so we might fail at certain grounds. But we should be still consider. We should, because we are still as a child growing up. So we should forget those things and like, still go on playing. We shouldn't be bothered much. I mean, to saying that not by saying not bother much means like not actually uh, do so much that we can't progress. We don't. We should actually start try to forgiving ourselves and then progress. Like a child doesn't bother. The another analogy is that one should be like the child. They are not bothered by the things which are going around. Even the word of fame, I mean, word of praise, or I mean, the rebuke is coming, but they accept it like whatever is there, and they still keep on playing. That's their goal. So similarly, if our goal is bhakti and we are being punished, or I mean, not punished, but I mean, we are bothered by the material facts, basically, whatever is happening around. We shouldn't be bothered much with whatever is going around. Bhakti should be still there. I mean, that is a goal. We might not be able to at certain days. We might be able to give 100% towards the bhakti, and certain days we might just be able to just just go through with the minimum level of sadhana that what we are doing, and then we should actually still be focused on the bhakti, saying we should endeavor and still be focused on the bhakti, not being bothered about what material situation we are going through. So these two analogies that came in my mind. And the determination is something which was amazing to see, that whatsoever condition that's being faced, whatsoever situation, dualities that's coming through, but still beyond dualities is a service, devotional service. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether one is in any ashram that's being said, whether one is brahmacharya, grihastha, vanprasth, or sannyasi, or whether he is Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, or Brahmana. It doesn't really matter. At any point in time, one can take up to devotional service, and once who takes up to devotional service, he becomes Vaishnava, and then the Vaishnava is beyond the Varnashram. So that is to be understood. Uh, that is to be understood, and this example is actually setting up the stage for bhakti. That what is the situation where we might land, what might affect it materially, even spiritually, whatsoever. It's setting up the stage. Be prepared that there's higher goal in front of us and we need to achieve it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah, I mean, in chapter 5 of Gita, Krishna says that you stay in this world because Arjun thought he has to leave this the association of people, go in a seclusion place and just study about God. But Krishna said, no, you stay in the world, you work like any other person, but you do it in Krishna consciousness. That's the key. So it's not that we avoid things, we live a normal life, but you do everything in Krishna consciousness, offering the fruits of our labor to God, having a spiritual goal, and then our work becomes worship, and that's the key. Can't run away from things. Like I said, that running away, you might not be ready for seclusion. Most of us not ready. And best if you do both things. You live a normal life and a spiritual life side by side, but with a spiritual goal. Thank you so much, Prabhu. But now, Prabhu, are you there? Okay. Go to Sureshi Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hello, hello. Yes, I am here.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
And this Dhruva Maharaj, we speak about Dhruva Maharaj. Just want to get your feedback on this.
Yes, I think, I mean, it's been a beautiful story for me as a child. We watched a movie. In fact, it might be open access now on YouTube, Balak Dhruv. And so I knew about this story. As I grew up, all these thoughts that one of the Matajis said, how he did tapasya for 1,000 years. And then you get to know, once you read the scriptures more, that one day of the days in Kali Yuga and in the days in other yugas are different. So one day of the one Satyuga may be equal to thousands of days of Kali Yuga. And also the days of Brahma, Lord Brahma, are different from the days of humans. So we are living in, and then when you read about pastimes of Krishna also, and you think, how this happened, and that sounds like magic in today's world. And my daughter keeps asking me, about magic, and I tell her that the rules governing nature are different in different yugas, and in Kali Yuga rules are different, and they were different in different yugas. So it's just trying to, when the human mind tries to intellectually trying to interpret things, then there are answers to there. And the other way is that we just believe that, this is the Maya of Krishna and surrender ourselves to Krishna. So beautiful story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, there was Lord Brahma. Actually, he was meditating for many, many years. He's looking for the knowledge. And then he sees Narayan. And then Narayan told him again to go and do another 1,000 years of meditation. So that was, Lord Brahma did many, many years of meditation before he acquired the knowledge to create this universe. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, Swashi Mataji. Mother, you on mute? She's got busy. I think maybe Mataji has had to move away. I know she has a lot of responsibilities at the moment. Okay, so then maybe we should go to chanting now. Want to say something? Okay, go on.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
No,
Happy.
I have finished.
Hare Krishna Mataji, are you back?
It's okay, because we won't got enough time as well, so I'll leave it. It's okay.
Sorry, Mataji.
I just wanted to quickly add that in all the past times, Krishna has led, all of us by example. This is my realization for today, and that Krishna shows how to, actively do the endeavor. In every Leela, Krishna has done a lot of endeavor, whether it's in Damodar Leela or whether it was in Mahabharata, navigating the wrath of Arjun. So endeavor has to be there, and Krishna has told us through the Leelas that is our primary role in this life, so that we can go back to Godhead. And I had some other realization as well. Sorry, I have just completely forgotten. I'll share it in the group when it comes back to my head. Thank you for all your association. Hare Krishna.
Andy, Swashi Mataji.
Yeah, we haven't got much time, Prabhu. Is it all right if I say something?
Yeah, can. Yeah, quickly we can say, yeah.
I just leave it. We'll do the chanting. If you want what it. But the only thing I can just very quickly is Narada Muni did not meet Dhruva Maharaj by chance. It was all arranged by the Supreme Lord. Anything happens in this world is always arranged by the Supreme Lord. And Dhruva Maharaj had a desire to meet the Supreme Lord. So the Lord sent Narada Muni as a spiritual master and association, to have association with Dhruva Maharaj. And if you have a desire, and the Lord arranges everything, like in a practical life, like sometimes we have desire to be initiated with the initiated. So the Lord is always, without the Lord's arrangement, you can't have spiritual master. So it's arranged by Lord Krishna all the time. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also, Maharaj Parikshit, when he was chased by the Takshak, his desire was to hear about the Lord. So Lord arranged Sukadeva Goswami to meet him. And so Goswami just appeared. Sukadeva Goswami just appeared. And Dhruva Maharaj was very determined. He was very determined when he met Narad Muni. Narad Muni told him that you're a very young boy, you should grow up and you should take the time to play. But he was so determined. And it's very important to be, I mean, we have fight everything, but it's our determination. In our devotional service, we should be very determined. Like in the Bhagavad-Gita, there's a story about the sparrow, everybody, that the ocean took away the eggs and she was determined to, and she was taking the water in a beak, drop by drop, and until the Garuda came and helped her. So if you're determined, you can achieve your goal in this life. And that's what Dhruva Maharaj was. He was very determined because his mother is obeying his mother's advice as well. So I would say that determination in our devotional stage is very important. And association, we have to have a good association, and Dhruva Maharaj did a very excellent association with the Narada Muni, the spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about fulfilling desires. Krishna fulfills all desires that we know later on. Everyone knows this story. So even though Dhruva Maharaj does no longer want any material result, but that's what he came for originally. He came for material. He had a material desire, had a very strong material desire. And that's what started him off in this bhakti. And even though he didn't want it later on, he realized that it was is futile compared to what he was actually getting for his bhakti. He had got darshan of Narayan himself. He says, well, there's nothing compared to this. But Narayan still insisted that I'm going to give you what you asked for originally. I'm going to still give it to you, whether you want it or not, because you can have it. You deserve it. For a 5-year-old to do something he did, it was based on his material desire. And so Krishna, he can give us our material desires, provided that those material desires, we're not attached to them and they don't affect our bhakti. This is the thing. Sometimes Krishna takes away our material things because they are an obstacle in our bhakti, or sometimes he gives us material things because they will be helpful. We can use them in his service. So it's very important. This is why it's Krishna consciousness. So all depends on our consciousness, how we going to use what facilities. We can use everything in Krishna's service. So Krishna knows what you are capable of using, what you're not capable of using. So he gives you accordingly. And through Maharaj, having the planet, the pole star, it was not going to affect his bhakti. So he was given that as well. So thank you so much. We'll do one quick round. Time is passing by very quickly. So we'll do one round. Swashi Mataji, if you could do that today, and then we'll catch up next week and carry on with this. And hopefully see you all Sunday as well for our Damodar programs. Thank you.
Namo Vishwadaya Krishna Bhutale